It's so often the easy path. The easy path that calls to us to be weak for that moment, to break down for that moment, to give in to the desire and the short-term gratification. But the discipline will not allow that. The discipline calls for strength and fortitude and will. Discipline is your best friend. It will take care of you like nothing else can. And it'll put you on that path. The path to strength and health and intelligence and happiness. And most importantly, it'll put you on that path to freedom.
The problem with the pursuit of happiness is that when life's storms come along, happiness disappears, and then you're left with nothing. And so you need to pursue something that's deeper than happiness. And if happiness comes along, well then, hooray for you. You don't want to despise it because it's fleeting, but it's much better to pursue things that are meaningful than things that make you happy. It's deeper and it orients you more appropriately, and it keeps you centered in your own life. It makes you more useful for your family and your community.
You gain knowledge through suffering. And on the other end of suffering is a world that very few have ever seen. It's a beautiful world, because that's where you find yourself.
Success is built on a foundation of hard work, dedication, and an unrelenting commitment to push through when everyone else decides to take a break. You see, while others are looking for shortcuts, I'm up early and staying late. While others are hitting snooze on their dreams, I'm already awake, already working, already moving forward. I will outwork anyone who thinks they can outwork me.
Motivation is a feeling that comes and goes, and it doesn't matter whether it's there or not. Discipline is infinitely more important. So no matter how you feel, get up and do what you're supposed to do. That's it. And that's discipline. It's not motivation. If you only did what you were supposed to do when you were motivated to do it, that's leaving it to chance. But if you're disciplined, you go do what you're supposed to do. That's the way it works.
Let me ask you a question. How many of you here today feel like you're not living up to your full potential? How many of you feel like you have more to give? More to achieve, more to experience in this life, but for some reason, you just can't seem to get yourself to take consistent action? Well, my friends, I'm here to tell you that the key to unlocking that potential, the secret to finally making the breakthroughs you've been longing for, is all about one simple word: consistency. You see, it doesn't matter how talented you are, how smart you are, or how much potential you have. If you can't develop the discipline to show up and do the work day in and day out, then I'm sorry to say, but you're never going to reach the heights that you're truly capable of.
I will do what is required. And this work needs doing. And there's just no way around it. And it's just looking at the face of the work, and it's like smiling back at me like, no one else is going to do it. And like, I love that one. Like when we're recording content in the early days, we were doing like 100 shorts every time we did it. And it was direct to camera. And it was the only time I could fit it in with all the portfolio stuff that we're doing. And so it was always like, I will do what's required. And that's been a really helpful refrain for me when I'm confronted with, especially when you know what needs to get done.
If you go to the gym and you work out and you come back and you look in the mirror, you will see nothing. And if you go to the gym the next day and you come back and you look in the mirror, you will see nothing, right? Clearly there's no results, can't be measured, it must not be effective. So we quit, right? Or if you fundamentally believe that this is the right course of action and you stick with it, if you believe there's something there, you commit yourself to an act of service. You commit yourself to the regime, the exercise. You can screw it up. You can eat chocolate cake one day, you can skip a day or two. You know, it allows for that. But if you stick with it consistently, I'm not exactly sure what day, but I know you'll start getting into shape. I know it. Going to the gym for 9 hours does not get you into shape. Working out every day for 20 minutes gets you into shape. It's not about the events. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency.
If you want to blame other people for the problem, and I say this all the time, if you don't take ownership of the problem's not going to get solved. So if you blame your parents for not having raised you in a disciplined environment, you're not going to solve that problem. Taking ownership means that you actually have to identify the problem, you know you're responsible for it, and then you actually have to solve the problem. That's what you have to do.
You have to make sacrifices, push past the discomfort, and show up when others are too tired or too afraid to keep going. There is no magic formula for success. There's only effort, sacrifice, and a burning desire to get better every day.
You see, consistency is the foundation upon which all great achievements are built. It's the difference between someone who talks a big game but never delivers, and someone who quietly, steadily, day after day, puts in the work and sees their dreams come to fruition. Consistency is what separates the winners from the losers, the successful from the mediocre, the fulfilled from the frustrated. And the best part is, consistency is a skill that can be learned and developed, just like any other. It's not some innate quality that you either have or you don't. No, my friends, it's a muscle that you can strengthen, a habit that you can cultivate, a mindset that you can intentionally forge within yourself.
Go do something. Do the best thing that you can think of. Put the best plan you have into practice. It's not going to be perfect, and it will change along the way, but it will change partly because you become disciplined pursuing the path. And as you become disciplined, you become wiser. And as you become wiser, you become able to formulate better and better plans. So you can start vaguely and confused and develop a plan that's not so great, and you start to implement it, and then you accrue incremental wisdom as you implement your flawed plan, and that enables you to fix the plan. And so that's part of that process of incremental self-improvement as well.
If the idea of discipline, of consistently doing an action, is only associated with pain, with tedium, being by yourself in a room, doing one thing over and over and over, you're never going to get over the mountain because it's associated with too much pain, and the brain naturally shrinks from anything that's painful. So there has to be pleasure involved. Discipline has to have an element of pleasure. Consistently doing your work has to have rewards. Reward is the key word here. So if you never feel a direct, pleasurable sensation from what discipline is giving you, then it's never going to work.
So when people start realizing that if they set the goals inside of the larger goal and self-reward each one of those, they essentially have an infinite amount of energy to pursue those goals. They have an infinite amount of focus to pursue those goals.
So I came home one day from working at a job called Ecolab where I sprayed for cockroaches. Made $1,000 a month, weighing 300 pounds. I got home and I watched a show on Discovery Channel of guys carrying boats and logs, Navy SEAL training. And I decided to make a change in my life. And I called the recruiter up. I was 6'1" and 300 pounds. He laughed at me. 7 other recruiters laughed at me. One recruiter finally said, "Come on in, I'm too busy to talk to you on the phone." He didn't know how much I weighed. I walked in the recruiter's office and he looked at me and he said, "You're fat and you're black." He said I basically had to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months. Because of my age, I was getting too old. I came back 3 months later, 106 pounds lighter. I spent 18 months going through BUDS, which is a 6-month program. Went through 3 hell weeks. That is where I met Marcus Luttrell, Danny Dietz, Michael Murphy, another Medal of Honor winner. I went through hell week with all these guys, real heroes. I am not a hero. I served with real heroes. And from there, I went on to raise over $2 million for the Special Operations Warrior Foundation.